Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bookish Artist Mandy here, and I am coming today with a quick cleanup video. Now, normally I would not clean out just 2 pens at a time, but I am wanting to, one, see how Diamine Forever Ink cleans out of a pen, and two, I just kind of wanted to show you, and I want to switch the inks on both of these. So they both have Diamine Forever Ink. I have been testing, this one is a Retro 51 with a Jowo nib, and it's a size medium, but you can see this has red ochre in it. I've been having some problems with this pen, and I don't know, dry out of ink issues. I'm not sure. This is my one and only Retro 51, and I absolutely love it. It's such a great writer, but I wonder if it's not getting closed or if there's a seal that's not working, because both this is Pride and Prejudice, so when I first got it, I had Wearing Ghoul's Pride and Prejudice in it, but then I had Tasha Suchi in it as well, and I thought it was just from the sheen, but my Tasha Suchi was doing the same thing. And you can see that, if you can see, there is a lot of crust on this nib, which is sometimes pretty typical for pigment inks, but I don't know. So I'm kind of like, do I just let this pen just hang out? Because I love it, and it's more like I got it for collectors, but I still want to use it, and it is a fabulous writer. Like, this is so comfortable. So I don't know. If anybody has had a Retro 51 that they've had issues with, please let me know if there's a solution so I can make sure that my ink's not drying out. And I wonder too if I'm just not getting this part on correctly and if it's not twisting all the way. I don't know. Okay, but I have that. And then I also have one of my TWSBI Ecos. I have been using my TWSBI Ecos. This one is with, what size is this? Is this an extra fine or a fine? Extra fine. I have been using these with my Forever Inks, and I've been having just a great time. But I have never shown on my channel, I take these things all the way apart. And I want to show that process. What I love about TWSBI is if anything goes wrong with anything on it, if you email TWSBI, they will, for a $5 shipping fee, will replace the parts. I just had a crack, my first crack, in one of my 580s, and I said, you know, can I buy the replacement part? Because it was a barrel and it cracked in the nib, so everything was leaking. It still worked, but it was leaking, and they sent me a whole new barrel for $5. So, and they've sent me new nibs and everything. So like, they're a great company, so I don't worry about taking them apart. They build them so you can take them apart, but I know that a lot of people worry about that, but I feel like to get them clean, like super clean, you almost have to. So those are the 2 pens that we're going to do today. And then the other thing I'm going to show you is what my tools are. So this is just one of my syringes. This came this way when I bought it. How, and maybe other people knew this, but how handy is that? I didn't think of that before, so I like to do this. This one came with empty cartridges from Private Reserve. I found them on Amazon, and compared to these thinner ones, I actually prefer this thicker one when I'm using the pens, because you can see like just how much thicker and shorter. It's just a lot, I feel a lot more comfortable using it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if people ever saw pictures of anything in my house and were like, but pen life, right? And then I have my TWSBI. This comes with your Ecos. I usually prefer to use the Diamine 580 ones that are metal, but this one is the first one I grabbed, so that's what I'll use. They come with every single pen, so I have a bunch of those. So yeah, and then my other tool I want to show you. This is just a regular pipette that I got off Amazon, and then I cut off most of the end, and you'll see why later. So it's this one that I use. So you'll see why when I get there. But we're going to start with the TWSBI. And now this one still has some ink. I have 2 cups of water here. 1 cup is going to be my dirty water, and then the other cup is for clean. So I am just going to clean this out a little bit before I start taking it apart. And normally I'll have towels and a bunch of other things just kind of hanging out because I let them dry on a towel. But these ones, I'm swapping inks and I'm putting different inks in them. I'm really feeling oranges lately, so I want to try the Diamine Coral Blaze. I have a dirty one right here, so I want to save that. Okay, and then what I tend to do is when it's got water in it already, I will twist a couple times and make sure. Now this part, people say don't do it, but I've never had a problem doing this because they're like, oh, eventually this isn't going to fit. I've had TWSBIs for multiple years now, and I still have my very first TWSBI. So, and I do this all the time. This is how I swap nibs. So I just grab onto it, and TWSBI nibs are really nice. So if you grab onto it right here, and you want to make sure you, the one thing I have destroyed before is the feed. These feeds, especially on TWSBIs, are really delicate. So you want to make sure that you're grabbing the nib and just pull it out. And it pulls out really nice. And so then you can clean that. You can clean that nib. Oh, and I just put that in my clean water. Okay, my clean water's still pretty clean. And so you just can clean that. And I usually will do that and then just dip it. And I want to see how the pigment ink comes off this. And it is coming off really nicely. Generally, I have a lot more issues with pigment ink. So now this looks pretty clean. So I'm gonna just swirl it in my clean water. Beware, your fingers do get really messy during this process, unless you wear gloves, which I suppose I could. I just don't like the feeling of gloves on my fingers. Anybody else? Okay, so that is clean and dry. And looking at it, it doesn't look like any residue is left on it. Now, I usually generally will take it and roll it on a dry paper towel, just a little bit. Don't put too much pressure because, again, these little channels right here are so delicate. So there's the feed. I set that aside, and then I work on the nib and just clean it off a little bit, and I'll set the nib aside and we'll get to the pen here. If you can see it, I'm trying to show on the camera. Let me readjust my camera. Okay, it wasn't high enough, so I was kind of like over here, and let's see here. Okay, so I will take this and then I'll kind of go in there and make sure everything's off. So there is a little bit of pigment residue that got stuck kind of right there. But that even happens with some of my inks, because this is a plated nib. This is the rose gold. So there we go. Maybe I might need to dip this in some water and swirl it. But it's pretty clean. So you can see the pigment ink does clean really well, at least off the TWSBI. And I wasn't too concerned about the TWSBI. I do think I want to get one more thing of water because I want to make sure that I really get this other one clean. And I think I need to, maybe, do I need another thing of water? I don't know. I'm thinking out loud. So there, that's clean. And I'll set that aside for now because we're going to clean this. And this is going to require, I forgot my silicone grease. I'll be back. And there's my silicone grease. Okay, so this also comes with every TWSBI you ever buy. I love this stuff because it really helps. It helps in other things too, but definitely for the TWSBIs. Okay, so what you want to do when you are taking this apart, and there is still some liquid in there. When you are taking this apart, is you want to open it all the way up so you have that space in here. Then you are going to take your I almost forgot the name of the wrench, your wrench, and you put it in. Now it is still kind of loose. You want to twist that back, that plunger back, until it is tight. Now to loosen it, you pull it towards you and you twist. Now it's going to stop eventually because this is twisted into here. You can see where it is twisted. Eventually it's not going to twist anymore and you're just going to be twisting, and I'm at that point. When you first get it, it's a lot tighter than it normally is. But because this is, you know, a plunger and it needs to, you know, to hit the walls, it's going to be very tight. And now I'm looking at this. It is, I'm going to just stamp it. It's real clean. Okay, so Diamine Forever, so far, Diamine Forever Pigment Ink is very, very clean. Or, you know, like it can come off really easily. Because this was one of the first ones I had inked up. So I'm going to take my clean water and I'm going to fill my syringe. And I am just going to squirt it in there over my dirty water and really get that cleaned out. I do a couple flushes. And I'll actually flip it around and do it from here. The one thing I do notice, and this is with any ink, is that sometimes right in here where it meets, there are these little grooves and they do get dirty and stained eventually. So I'm kind of just going in here with this. Now, there we go. I don't know how many other people do this, but I do this part, okay? So this is done for now. Like it's still dirty, but I will show you what I do, my like hack. Okay, so I take the cap, ink gets in there. I take the cap, I fill it with water. I let it sit for a minute because it really gets that water wet. So I set it down and let it sit for a minute. I just let it sit. So I will go back to this. So this still has water in it and some of it's a little dirty. This is my trick that I do with this. So I'm going to grab one of my paper towels. I have a couple here just because I use them and I didn't grab my towels. I rip off just a tiny, tiny piece of it because I don't want it to be too thick. And I take a Q-tip and I tightly, as tight as I can, so it's really tight, I roll this around my Q-tip. I really like having this extra paper towel. I didn't learn this from anybody. This is my little hack. And I take it in here because then you can really wipe down this area and get that residue off. And sometimes once I've done that and it's still on there, like this is still on there right here, I will hit it again and roll it around, just twisting. You want to make sure this is thin enough that you don't have to push it in. Because see, there I have to push it. But then sometimes what I'll do is I will take it and just lightly dip it in water, and then you can really get in there and get that clean. So I'm seeing if the pigment is coming out. And it is coming out. So it's not going to stain this, at least for the most part. I've had just regular ink stain this before, stain these pieces. You can see in here there's like a purple stain, blue stain. And then I do the same thing in this part. So the staining really happens up in here, I've noticed, where the plunger doesn't go. So I also like this because then I don't have to sit and wait for this to dry when I am putting them away, because I do have quite a few TWSBIs. I thought I had more than I did, but I don't. So, you know, it's probably a good thing. I thought I had 50. I do not have over 50 or over 40. But, so there, that gets it really dry, really clean. It is ready to go and be put away. It is a little bit stained. And what I would do with that, and if I was really worried about it right now, what I would do is I would soak it in water. And I also have this cleaning solution that is for jewelry. I can go pull that out here in a minute and I will show you what it is when it's really, really tough. But I don't use it all the time. I usually just use water. So there, it's pretty clean. You can see it's a little greasy from the silicone grease, but that's because I just make sure it's always clean. Now with this, it's stayed long enough, and this didn't have any water in it, but you can also, or this didn't have any ink in it, but you can also, there's a little stopper here for air tightness. You can pull that out. You can usually pull it out. I usually grab it with just a pencil or something, but it does come out. But I don't need to right now because it is just fine and clean. And so yeah, I always make sure that when I clean these things, I dry them, because that wetness will get right into your ink, that water will, and it's not a big deal, but it does, you know, make your ink wetter and wrong colored. So make sure that if you are cleaning the cap, and I do this with all my pens, not just my TWSBI pens, I clean all my caps like that. And maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I haven't had any issues with my pens. So yeah, I don't know. But I always make sure they're dry too. Okay, so now this is really dry. Now if I put this back in, it probably would have troubles spinning. And this thing, I'm gonna show you, you can take this whole thing apart. And I'm gonna show you because it could happen. Like you can take this whole thing apart, which is kind of a pain, but this piece goes right back in here. And then this piece goes right here. So it's just all together. So you put this piece in here and you put this in here. And then this twists back on. What you want to do, if this happens, because then this piece, the plunger piece, will fall off, is you twist it out. And I'm going to twist it a little farther. There is just this little space right here where the wrench fits. And I don't know if I can zoom in enough that you can see it. You can kind of. So you want to twist this so it is flush with that wrench piece. You don't want to do any more or any less. And then you push this in. You put this in. And then in order to get it to be the right place, you have to twist this down. Let me see. Oh, the hard part is that you have to be like super coordinated. And you twist it. You want to make sure there is a gap, because if you twist this, if you put this little guy on and it's twisted too far, it will go all the way up. You don't want that. You want a little gap. That's why I say to be flush with that wrench space. So then there isn't the gap. But you want this on before you put this back on your pen. So here we go. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it the way that I always do it. And it is kind of finicky. This took a lot of practice. So I would say just practice. So it just has to be a gap just like that. If it's a little bigger, that's okay, because then you won't be able to put as much ink in your pen, which is fine with TWSBIs because they last so long. I've had one of my TWSBIs inked up for like 3 months and use it all the time. So now all I do is I take my silicone grease and I put it back on right here, and voila. You just put it right there on the plunger. Sometimes you can put it on the bottom. I don't normally put it down here very much, but I do sometimes. It just depends on how dry, because if you put that back on without the grease, it would feel like you are like breaking your pen to twist it in. So now this is the only part that is a little bit hard, and you might feel some tension. So now you are going to pull this and turn this and turn and turn and turn, because what is going to happen is that's going to twist in there. And then it will twist all the way in and you get this. Now, if you don't do this next step, what happens is you're going to twist that whole thing off. You're going to take this wrench and very lightly make sure that this is tight. Don't over tighten it because you will break your barrel. But you're going to make sure that's tight, and then test it. Can you twist and twist the pen back without it coming off? And I can. It's really simple. It just feels like, if it's the first time you've done it, it just feels really scary because it is complicated. There are little complicated pieces, but your TWSBI is meant to. Like TWSBI parts are all universally, you can move and interchange them, which is one of the reasons I love them so much, because I sometimes want my rose gold pen, my Smoke Rose Gold, I sometimes want it in a medium nib. And right now, this is my extra fine. So I really love having that option. And it's just something that I do because I have a really thing with some of the colors. I love this one. This is one of my, if I picked like a favorite colorway, this is probably my favorite. So then TWSBI feeds are very, like TWSBI feeds and KOFI are feeds. They are similar where they have this little hump where you can put the thing on, where you can put the nib on, and it connects. Like there's a little indent in there. So then you know it's on correctly. And I've shown in some of my other videos, I grab very like flat, so not hurting the nib. I grab the feed and the nib right here. I hold them and I very gently push it back in. And there, my pen is back together. I usually do that a lot faster, but I wanted to show you since I'm doing this. And this pen cleaned out wonderfully. There is a little bit of staining right here, just right here, but I have staining not with pigment inks. And I have had this inked since I got my Diamine Forever inks. So that, if that gives you any pause about Diamine Forever, they do clean out of a pen very nicely. So that one is ready. I think I might put Coral Blaze in here next. All right, and this one has red ochre in it. And this one is a little bit different because it has the converter. It does have a little bit of ink left, but I want to test this out with another color. So I have a little sample vial of my Diamine Forever dumps, and I want to dump because what if this color, once I've dumped them, turns into a really cool color? So that will be fun. That will be fun to play with. And right now it's like a dark green because I had a green in my TWSBI. But then I do that with my other ink too. Now this trick, I used to just take my converters and, you know, clean them out by just pulling water in them back and forth until it got clear. So, however, this is a trick I saw from Hey Julia here. So she takes a syringe and she cleans it out this way. And she flushes it. It's a little messier, but she flushes it until it's clean. And what I was finding with my pens is that they were getting really, like the converters were getting ink under here and I couldn't get it out. And this works really well that way because it pulls some of that water down. So I don't know why that works the best, but it does. I am, however, going to put this converter up, I think, because I want to try a different converter with this. And I can't remember what converter I wanted to try. So I need to remember where my converters are. Okay, I don't know if this fits, but this is an extra Schmidt converter. This is what I'm wondering if this is the problem with my dry out, because this seems like it doesn't completely fit. But it's got that bottle, and I don't know, but I wonder if this Schmidt one will fit. Oh yeah, it goes on there so much nicer. So maybe this is the reason, is it wasn't connecting correctly. But okay, so I'm gonna pull this out of here. Because the Jowo nibs twist out of the places where they're held. And I don't know if there's any ink in this, but I'm gonna swash this nib around because it is very dirty. I'm gonna swash in my dirty ink, but that was really dirty. But you can see, if you can see, that residue did come off that nib. But I like to, where did I put that? Oh my goodness, I just lost my little Q-tip. Oh, here it is. Okay, got in there. But I like to take this as well as get it a little bit wetter. Yeah, you can see there's still Pride and Prejudice because I haven't done this with this one yet. So that's Pride and Prejudice color. Just clean this grip section because sometimes ink gets up in there and then it gets into the feed and you get really weird colors. And I haven't done this with this one. That's funny. Oh, okay. I thought I had, but I guess I hadn't because I wouldn't have Pride and Prejudice. I haven't had Pride and Prejudice in this for months. But I'm wondering if now that I'm switching converters, because this converter, I don't know if Retro 51 like has their own converters, but this one seems not as nice as my Schmidt converter. So I do wonder if that was part of the problem. We'll find out. We'll find out, and I will update you in another video. Okay, so I got the nib a little bit cleaned, but as you can see, there is definitely still ink in there. So this is where this comes in to play, and my clean water. So I'm going to take my clean water, I'm going to fill this thing, and the reason that I cut this down is so that it can fit over my nib. You want to be really careful here. I have actually bent a nib off, or bent this piece off of a nib and broken a nib. So you want to be really careful. A lot of times I will put this back on the housing unit or the grip section unit, because that gives it just a little bit more safety so you're not bending it. But yeah, you want to just go around it, and then you're gonna squeeze it into the dirty water. You're gonna take it off, get new clean water, and squeeze it until that water runs clear. And it's still not running clear, so I know that there's still ink in my feed. And I've seen this trick so many places, but it's just flushing your nib. And I don't always do this because sometimes I'm okay with color, like mixing, but I want to see how this cleans out. I really do, because this is the Diamine Forever, and it cleaned out really well in my other nib. So then what I will do, and I know this is dirty water, but what I have learned about this dirty water is it looks really dirty, but it's not super dirty. It is kind of light green, but I will put my nib, fully submerge it, and then pull it through. So now it's coming through the same color. So now I can come over here, do one more flush with the clean water, and I'm going to take it over to the clean water now. I've done this quite a few times, can you tell? I just make sure that my nibs are super clean. I don't know if everybody does it this way, but I like to make sure. So I pull up water, I let it kind of just pull up water in here, and the water in here is clean, so that means that that nib is clean. And there is no ink left. So now I usually, when I'm not using these, I usually let them dry out by, because of how nibs work, I will take like a little bit of a paper towel and I will wrap it around the nib, and then I will just let it sit, because then that's going to make it dry out. I don't know if this is how you're supposed, this is stuff like, I don't know the proper etiquette. Could I be breaking my pens? I could very well be breaking my pens. So do this stuff at your own risk, like with your pens. But in the whole scheme of things, nibs are not super expensive. But as you can see, there is still residue. And at this point, no, I can't pull it out right now because my fingers hurt too much. But I would pull this out and really get in there and clean it, because there is residue. Otherwise I could soak it and just see how that works and do another flush. And maybe I'll do that, because I know that some people don't like pulling their nibs and stuff out because they're probably a bit more precious with their pens than I am. Which is why I don't want to buy like the really expensive nibs. Like I love the Jowo nibs. I love to get really nice pens, but the Jowo nibs are great. But sometimes, and you can all let me know in the comments if I'm crazy for doing stuff like this, but I haven't really broken a pen doing this. Sometimes I'll go in with just a piece of paper, and please tell me if this is wrong, because am I ruining my pens? I will go in with a piece of paper and I will try to see if I can like flush that out a little bit, but I do it very slowly, very carefully so I'm not really hurting my pen. But see there, I just hurt my pen because I got a little bit of paper in there. So maybe don't do that. Maybe don't do that. Okay? All right, I learned my lesson. And I'm going to put that, where's my grip section back? Where did my grip section go? There it is. Oh, goodness. Okay, so this is why I do these things, because I don't treat my stuff as precious, and maybe I should, but I'm using it. This is, I want them useful, and if they're not going to work, I know that nibs are finicky, but if they're not going to work, they're not going to be what I need them for. There, got that paper out. Just a little bit of water flushing, yeah. And there doesn't look to be residue in it, so hey, that worked. As I'm going to squirt myself in the face with water. Okay, so you really probably, and honestly, that paper probably didn't do all that much. It was probably leaving the water in it for a little longer and doing another flush. I'm going to 100% say that. So don't do that water. I don't think I'm going to do that paper trick anymore. I've only done it a few times, and I don't think I'm going to do it again. So learn from my mistakes. Do what I do. Do as I say, not as I do. Is that what? I don't know. Okay, just, you know, maybe just see that I'm crazy and be like, all right, maybe I'm going to find an expert, because I'm not an expert. I haven't been in the fountain pen world for very long. I just have done a lot of experimenting, broken a lot of pens. I haven't really broken any Jowo nibs. I've broken this part. I broke the feed on my newest acquisition, which is, or my newest pen. I got one of the Jowo Flex nibs, and I don't know if the nib was broken or if it was just my user error. I thought that was just writing like with a normal fountain pen, but the nib like fell, and then I tried to get the nib, like, I don't know, the nib just was really, really scratchy. So I thought, okay, is it the Flex? And so I was trying to like, just like, you know, fine tune the tines, and this piece, the feed, just flopped off, and so it snapped off right here. So now I have a Flex nib, and I bought a replacement, a Leonardo replacement nib, and just got it fine rather than the Flex. And I could have gotten the fine in the first place, but what I wanted to try the Flex. I won't be trying another Flex because I don't like it, unless maybe I got a what do you call it? A Flex that was broken, or maybe I got just a dud, because that happens with nibs all the time. But my Leonardo nibs have all been fantastic, so I think it was user error. I don't know, but there we go. And then I just make sure, and this is ready to get inked with another color too. So I got to figure out what color I want in this, but I do want to try it again. I'm going to just double check as well, since I'm right here. Do my lid swirl here. Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever done a lid swirl on this. I have to show y'all, because that is definitely a Pride and Prejudice pink. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll shake it. Make sure. Yeah, that's pink. That is, okay. So then I will do this. And clean that out with some, oh, look at how pink that is. That is definitely not a Diamine Forever, because I have not put, I put the red ochre, and that is not that color. Oh, that's funny. I have not cleaned this pen out. Ooh. I thought I had. Well, I had Pride and Prejudice in here for a long time, so I think that's part of it, is that I was only ever going to use Pride and Prejudice, and then I put Suchi in it. But I should have cleaned it out before I put the Suchi in. I'm surprised I didn't. Gosh, look at that. Ooh. Just grab another Q-tip here. I'm just going to take it in with the Q-tip. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, there, that's clean now. As clean as it's gonna get right now. But yeah, there we go. So now I'm gonna go grab my inks. I do want to ink them up on camera so we can do a quick writing test to just see if the color comes out to be the color that I put in, because that's a big test too with when you're inking up and cleaning out a pen. I just kind of want to do that too. So I'll be right back. So I'm really kind of trying to try all the different inks, and right now I'm having like an orange moment. Like I want everything orange, which is not normal for me. I want orange and red, so I'm gonna do Coral Blaze. I'm excited about this. And now I'm not going to ink this all the way up. I'm going to just do just a little bit. I usually ink it up until it's a little bit past that little thing. So then you have plenty of ink, but you don't have that full. And that way I'm not wasting ink. That's how I do that. Especially when I'm trying a new color. And this Coral Blaze is definitely a bright in-your-face orange, and I'm excited to use it with watercolor. I think that'll be fun. Okay, so that one is inked up. I want to put this away before I spill, because that would be fun. And then I wanted to try Passion Flower. I only have bottles of some of the inks, but I really loved this purple and I wanted to put it in a pen, but I wanted to try red ochre first. Okay, so here we go. I'm really curious about this pen too. If switching this, I'm gonna make sure this fits though before I, oh, phew. I was like, oh, what if this converter doesn't fit? Okay, and that's why they went with that one. Nope. Okay. Now I like to hold on to the top of my bottle. Oh, didn't get it all the way in. There we go. And this I'm gonna do a full plunge. Yeah, there we go. Full plunge, because I have a feeling I'm gonna use this Passion Flower a lot because I love purple. And this is a beautiful purple for being a, you know, Document Forever pigment ink. I have a lot of pigment inks from a lot of different companies. Well, not a lot, because there's not a lot out there. But from most of the pigment companies, and I have not seen a purple like this Passion Flower. I actually, yeah, so I'm very excited. I don't have the Octopus Write and Draws. I have 1 or 2 of the samples, but they always clog my pens. So I don't know if it's just what it is. But now I'm gonna grab my notebook. This is the one that I've been using, which is the Nebula Colorverse. And I just got it yesterday, so that's why I've been using it. All right, and this is Diamine Forever Passion Flower, and it's working great. So, and it looks exactly like it's supposed to. It might be a little lighter because there could still be water in this feed, but it doesn't look like there's any red ochre. Yay, that makes me really happy. Ah ha ha, score. And then this one. Oh, look at that Coral Blaze in a pen. I hadn't put these in a pen yet. I just did the swatches when I first got them. Ooh, yes. And there's no green residue either. So there we go. That is exciting. And usually, because of the way that I clean my TWSBIs, I never have issues with like it being a little lighter, but this is fantastic. This color. Sorry, I was just not sorry. I'm very excited about this. So there we go. And then I have my little peachy guy here, since he was right there. Oh, that one was not dry yet, but there we go. Oh, it's gonna look great with that. Okay, that is everything today. I hope this helped you, and I hope that maybe it gave you a little bit more confidence if you have TWSBIs to take them apart and you know, try to get comfortable taking them apart. They clean so much nicer when you can take them apart. Like I have so many TWSBIs, and I take them apart every time I clean them. Maybe some people don't, but I do, and I have never had issues. I know that a lot of people do, and like I have had one crack, and I know it was from me because the 580s have a nib unit that you twist in. I twisted it too far and I cracked it because I over tightened. So the really big thing is with TWSBIs is that when you are doing these things, don't tighten where it's like, you want to tighten it. Like, so you twist and see how it twists. Then you want to just one extra like little touch. You don't have to over twist and over tighten. But the one thing I love about TWSBIs, especially when I'm using them with pigment ink, is that they really are like, this would sit in there for months. Like this is one I've had inked up since February. And when I open this up every single time, it just writes right away. And so if there's an ink I want to use, that I want to use for a while, I will ink it up in my TWSBIs, because even like, because I only filled this halfway, even halfway, this is lasting forever, and this ink isn't evaporating, which is really nice because it is so airtight. So that's one of the reasons I really like TWSBIs. They're always the one that if people are starting out, I recommend TWSBIs, or yeah, TWSBIs are my number one. People are like, well, which ones? I don't like Lamy Safaris. My Lamys have always had issues. I have issues if I don't, because I do like to have so many inked up. I have dry out issues. I don't like the way that it feels when you hold them. I know a lot of people say Pilot Kakunos. I didn't get my first Kakuno until like 6 months ago. And even then, they're not my favorite. Like, I do like them because I mean, I have my pocket purse, or my purse pens right now are pretty much all Pilot Kakunos. So I do like them, but they're not my absolute favorite. I don't know what it is, but TWSBI mediums, they're my best. They're my fave, at least for pocket pens. Like, if we're gonna get into more expensive pens, like I have definitely different favorites, but for like price, affordability, and like look and color options and just versatility, I really like TWSBIs. But that's just me. So yeah. If you made it this far and you want to leave me just an emoji to boost this video, why don't you leave me a water or tool emoji, since I just tinkered and took apart my pens to show you how to clean. And if you want to comment, if you really notice something that I should not do because I'm going to break my pens, please tell me so that maybe I can fix my behavior. Maybe I'm okay with tinkering, but I also, you know, do want to learn. I am willing to learn. I am still very, very new to this hobby. These are just things that I've learned in the last couple years of doing things, because I just get in there and I do it and I learn and I really focus. And that's part of having ADHD, is that you hyperfixate and hyperfocus. But I have always been a person who loves to learn. So when I have a hobby, I'm going to learn everything. And that's why I'm sharing with you, because I am learning. And as I am learning and making mistakes, I can teach you. So maybe that you won't make that mistake. Especially because I know that I am so blessed to be in a position where if I break a TWSBI, I can afford the $5 to get the replacement part. So I know that's not the case for everyone, but I just really appreciate you all being here for me, especially right now. So yeah, that's about it. And I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you in the next video.